All gas, no break. Welcome to the show. Just Chris and Mo for the moment. No Justin. Don't know where he is. Given his recent performance, don't really care. Hopefully he's alive and well, but he's not here right now. So that's about all we got for you on the whereabouts of Justin Armstrong at this time. We'll see if he joins the program unexpectedly at any point during this recording. But for now, it's just the two of us. And we are here, in a very somber mood as the Jets lose a heartbreaker to the Detroit Lions, 20-17. It was a total team loss. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching, you name it, any aspect of a football team, they all contributed to coming out on the losing end of this game on Sunday. I didn't really watch the full game because I was at the Saints game in New Orleans, which was going on at the same time. So I was limited to scoreboard watching and watching the condensed version of the game on YouTube. So I'll leave it to you, Mo. I'm assuming that you watched the game. Give us your breakdown or your takeaways of what went wrong against the Detroit Lions on Sunday.
So, I watched I had trouble even getting the game started with my technical difficulties over here, but I caught like maybe 3 or 4 minutes into the first quarter, and Zach made plays, but the whole story of the whole game was pretty much just inconsistency, and he never finds a rhythm. It's either he'll be hot and cold. He can't I still feel like he's the same way, and it shows. No question, you could see it. You just watch him. He still can't make the dump off passes.
Nope.
And he still finds a way to turn the ball over. He maybe had one good drive, and that was the 2 passes to one. I believe it was Elijah Moore, and then Uzama for the touchdown, and then he had the drive with Jeff Smith which should have been a touchdown because it was clearly holding.
That's right.
They didn't call it. I don't know why. You see it on the replay. But all in all, time management at the end of the game was
horrible,
bad. They lost so much time, and defense let up one big play that turned the whole game around.
Yeah, no, yeah. It seemed like for the defense, it seemed like they played pretty well, except for the first drive where they let them drive all the way down the field, and then they do stand them up at the goal line, but that does set up pretty good field position for Detroit defensively, where I presume they made Zach Wilson go 3 and out on that drive. And then, of course, Braden Mann I don't know why Braden Mann's still on this team, by the way. But then Braden Mann punts, and it's a line drive kick returned for a touchdown. So that kind of, I guess, set the tone for the game of what kind of game it was going to be. And yeah, to your point, it seems like with Zach Wilson, if you look at the box score, it looked like he had a good game. He threw for over 300 yards, and it wasn't just garbage time yards. It was meaningful yards that he picked up. But it really seemed like outside of a few good off-platform throws, that he was still missing the easy throws, and that he throwing behind receivers, absolutely killing momentum and killing drives on offense. Do you think they would? Obviously, I'm not going to blame the whole thing on Zach Wilson, although I do think he shoulders a lot of the blame for this loss.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they would have won if Mike White played?
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of get
definitely.
the vibe too. That I do kind of get the vibe that Mike White would have won
I
that.
think I think so. The reason being because Zach got sacked like a few times, and I think it's just because he holds on to the ball still too long, and Mike White would have like he makes his reads and gets rid of it quick. That was one thing. Um, Another is like not with Mike White, but the play that the drive they had best was when Zach had the rollout plays, and it was working. I don't know why they stopped doing it, and that's how we scored a touchdown with Uzama. They
Right.
were both rollout plays, and they were big plays, and we scored in like what, like a minute, not even, and
Yeah.
then they just stopped. They just stopped doing it. I don't know why. It was working.
Yeah. I
Why
don't
stop?
understand
Why
that.
stop doing shit that was working? It doesn't make sense to me.
That's because Mike LaFleur is too stubborn. I
It
think.
seems like he's trying to be too conservative still. But this is one thing. Like, all right, you have Zach. It's been what, 3 weeks that he didn't play,
Yeah, I think like
and
4 weeks.
uh,
It was minute.
I think because after the Patriots, it was the Vikings, Bills, and then
Yeah, so 4 weeks between starts for him.
right, and like you see what was working for Mike White, but you're not doing the same with Zach Wilson. The play calling to me looked like it's different. It doesn't look the same. And I feel like they're still like holding him back because they don't trust him. But my whole thing is like, why would they draft him if he doesn't fit the system?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense either. And looking back, it doesn't make sense how as soon as because I feel like as soon as the Jets hired Saleh and he brought in LaFleur, I remember we
Yeah.
were all kind of like, okay, well, that means that they're gonna because obviously they weren't gonna get Trevor Lawrence because Braden Mann just had to make a tackle in that Rams game
Mhm.
to help us win that game and not forfeit but lose the number one overall pick where we could have drafted Trevor Lawrence, who looks really good right now, and
He's
Jaguars are
probably gonna whip our ass
now.
Thursday.
Yeah, we got a ass whooping probably impending here. It's going to be a monsoon on Thursday, but nonetheless, once that happened, we were all like, "Oh, it's gonna be Zach Wilson." Like that, pretty much. That I feel like that pretty much dismissed any chance of Justin Fields coming to the Jets with that pick, which it really doesn't make sense because LaFleur's whole offense is like, it's basically like a West Coast offense where it's a lot of running and a lot of short passes, and it's supposed to be one of the easiest offenses to run. And I do think LaFleur sucks, and I think his play calling is way too conservative. I understand you have a quarterback that you don't trust. That is very apparent, but you still can't play scared. If you play scared, you're still going to lose. Like, regardless if you trust the quarterback or
Mhm.
not, you can't play scared like that. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense that, they drafted a guy like Zach to run LaFleur's offense when it's based on like basic short passes that like a 7-year-old could complete when Zach Wilson just can't do
He
that.
can't.
And
Yeah, and he's
I feel
still
like
throwing off his back foot.
if it wasn't for that one throw in the pro day, I feel like we probably don't even draft him. We probably do take Justin Fields or maybe Trey Lance, depending. Maybe we would have taken Trey Lance because we would have been kind of leaning more that way because I guess the 49ers wanted Trey Lance. So it kind of makes sense that maybe we would have wanted Trey Lance too. Considering we run like similar systems and all that. But
I mean, at this point, it's like, okay, we have to deal with it. So it's make it work. Like Michael Floor, like his play calling is questionable, but at the same time, like I feel the first and second down plays are always predictable, and then like third and if they go for it on fourth, that's what we need to call on first and second down.
Yeah,
because it's always working.
Yeah, they need
Like
to.
he plays he calls the plays that are unexpected on third and fourth, but never does it on first and second.
Yeah, they need to start doing that earlier more so that you can get into more third or fourth and manageable situations because it seems like a big part of the problem with the Jets is that they're always in these third and longs. Like I feel like there were so many, like just from watching the highlights. I mean, I know he completed that one pass to Elijah Moore at the end. It was like a 3rd and 19, the last play of the last play of the game before the missed field goal. Which I mean, people can blame Greg the Leg for missing that, but I mean, at the end of the day,
I'm not.
Yeah, no,
He's
I'm not.
He's not even a factor in this loss, to be honest with you. He's not.
At the end of the day, that field goal should have been a much closer attempt. The clock should have been managed much better, and in the last 2 minutes there, they
lost a good 15 seconds.
Yeah, there was just no reason for it. They had 30 seconds left.
They had 3 timeouts.
Like, what are you doing?
Like that was just you. And one thing is that like they have a guy who's supposed to be doing this.
Oh,
who's supposed to be controlling the game management. Yeah.
The next thing I was gonna say is, like Robert Saleh should hire a guy to do the clock stuff for him,
and they have one.
And apparently they already have one. Well, apparently he's not good at his job because where was he to call a timeout or tell them to call a timeout when it was appropriate? I mean, if you played Madden, you know obviously the first when you get to the 2-minute warning, I feel like in that first minute you don't really have to use the timeouts, but once you get under 1 minute, that's when you have to start using your timeouts. And to not use it until 30, especially when you were as far back as they were, to not use it until, to not start using them until those 30 seconds and you're still not in field goal range it was a recipe for disaster.
Right. So one thing, because honestly, I feel like this is the worst loss we had all season.
I would agree.
It was.
It really was. There's no
reason why, like, let's say compare it to the last Patriots game where it was 3-3 and then they scored on special teams.
Yeah.
Like that's one play. There are many plays where we could have made stopping them and scored. Many. Yeah, all game. And for the most part, I'd say from the second quarter to like until the end or until that 50-yard touchdown with a tight end, they were in control of it. And they weren't capitalizing on so many missed drives. It was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, like what, 5 times in a row, something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. But there were so many missed opportunities where they could have just scored, whether it was a touchdown or a field goal. We should have beat them by at least we should have scored 30 at least.
Yeah, no, that's the vibe I was gathering, and it seemed like Zach left a lot to be desired. Like even with
he left a lot of points off the board, yeah,
and even with and a lot of yards off the stat sheet too. Like even with the 300-yard performance, like he really should have had like 450 yards against that defense. But the reason that Lions defense was able to stop us, I was on another podcast earlier today. I was on the NYJ Ground Crew podcast. Shout outs to them. But their host was saying how their host was saying how basically the Lions just stacked the box like every play and just
which they did.
box because there's no reason to respect the Jets passing game. You know, if you just they were perfectly content with just stacking the box because we couldn't get anything going in the run game, which killed us. And
Yeah.
you know, they just were like, all right, we're like, let's make Zach beat us. And yeah, it happened. You know, there were a few times where Zach did beat them, but ultimately they were able to, keep him, they were able to keep everything in front of them and keep him grounded. And it also doesn't help that he threw that absolute dime straight to the defender because Zach just can't go one game without doing something completely idiotic.
Yeah.
That
And what the worst part about that pass was, like, he threw it more to the sideline instead of downfield. Like, if you watch it, like, and apparently, obviously, we know that he is like a strong arm. I don't know why he couldn't just throw it downfield because it would have been passed to, and Elijah Moore had him beat already. I'm pretty sure it was Elijah Moore, unless it was some.
It
Fucking
looks like
remember.
a Madden play where
I was so fucking pissed. Oh my god!
it looked like Elijah Moore was running like a wheel route, and it looked
Mhm.
like he was open on the play. He was open. It just looked like Zach like took too long to press the button to throw it to him, and by the time he threw it, he was throwing it into coverage to a defender.
And see, this is what I was telling my girl during the game. I was like, I still feel like Zach is like a second late with doing everything.
Yeah,
Like, he's not at full game time speed, and he's still like delayed. That's why he keeps getting sacked. That's why he's not like moving out of the pocket when he sees like danger coming, and he's just running into it. Like, he can find the open receivers, but it's taking him too long because shit, I don't even know. You can't tell me they're not getting open because I know they are.
oh, they definitely are. I mean, Garrett Wilson is
Garrett
open
Wilson was
every play.
open all the time.
Even if he's covered, he's open.
Yeah.
Elijah Moore definitely. I mean, I know the numbers don't really show much for Elijah Moore, but Elijah Moore definitely is creating separation. He created separation a lot last year, and he is definitely doing that again this year. He just has a quarterback who either can't or won't throw him the ball.
Right.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. And
It's a combination of a whole bunch of shit that he needs to
I
just
mean, shit,
go back and
Denzel Mims gets open too.
yeah.
And I mean, Braxton
And, I
Berrios,
mean, he made a play and then he got
Braxton
hurt.
Berrios, who
Yeah.
honestly at this point, Braxton Berrios shouldn't even be on the field anymore.
No.
Like really at all. I mean, he does
even special teams now is like questionable because I don't know what he's doing.
he doesn't do shit on special teams. He hasn't done shit for us all year. He barely even gets the ball back out to the 25 when he takes it out of the end zone. He stinks.
Yeah. He made one good play, I think, all game, and that was it.
Yeah, and it couldn't have been that good because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, though, wasn't it the one? There was one play he made. Maybe I'm thinking of Mike White. I don't even know anymore. These freaking games are so
You mean one play in
pissing me
the
off.
Lions game or one play in the whole season?
Shit, the whole season, at least on offense. I mean,
Yeah, I mean the only good play he made on offense was in the Packers game where he scored that touchdown. And I
well,
guess
there's that one deep pass he had like across on the I think it was on the right side of the sideline.
yeah. And Zach was also like throwing behind him a lot. Either way, like, and it seems like he's come down with a case of the drop-itis where he suddenly just can't hold on to the football anymore.
Yeah, ever since the Vikings game, yeah.
Ever since that one. I guess it's like a mental thing, but
Yeah, he's got the yips.
he seems to be lost in all aspects.
But see, that's one thing they try to give him like a redemption. I think in Buffalo, and it wasn't working. So stop featuring Braxton Berrios because he's just not making plays.
Yeah, and like, why is it that the Jets are so quick to like punish all these other players? they're so quick to punish Elijah Moore and like, basically exile him from the offense, exile him from the team when he requested a trade, or like when Denzel Mims requested a trade, they were so quick to bury him on the depth chart, or even last year they would bury him for not knowing the playbook or whatever the fuck it was. They're so quick to like punish all these players, or even with Zach, they were quick enough to bench him when he wouldn't take accountability for the horrible performance against New England. But why is it that Braxton Berrios seems to be like immune from accountability? It seems
he gets like the treatment that
because
no one else gets privileged to.
Is it because his girlfriend TV show? Like, I don't get it.
Shit, maybe, I don't know. But there really isn't anything that special about Braxton Berrios, to be honest with you, because there are so many players that could do the same shit.
Yeah, he would be easily replaceable, but we paid him, so now we're probably stuck with him.
Yeah.
And we're probably stuck with Wilson for another year.
We really paid him to be a punt returner, and he's not even doing that shit. So
yeah, he's really not.
I don't know.
He's really not doing anything. It's the vibes now are just like horrendous. I mean,
yeah. I mean, at this point, like defense for the most part played good, but they had the one play where I'm pretty sure there had to be some miscommunication because it was like wide open for that touchdown. It was like 50 yards.
Yeah, and I mean it was and it was a 4th and inches play too, and
yeah.
They get the first down, okay, whatever.
Insane.
But then like nobody was able to make a tackle, and I feel like Will Parks for all that he talks about how gangster this team is and how hard they play. And I do like Will Parks. He had a pretty
I do like Will Parks.
Lackluster effort at the end of that play. He basically let the tight end walk into the end zone at the end of it without really trying to tackle him. So, I think that was his effort there was definitely questionable.
I thought they cut him.
They cut him. They waived him. He cleared waivers, and then he came back. And I think because LaMarcus Joyner was hurt, Will Parks got activated. But Will Parks was on the field on Sunday.
All right. After the Jags game, I think we're going to start talking mock draft.
Sadly, it might be that time coming up. We're not there yet. Right now we're basically on life support. We need to.
Yeah,
basically
we're on our last legs here, and
basically the easiest way for us to get into the playoffs now is to win out, and for New England to lose one game, which should happen. Because New England gets
hopefully it's not against Miami.
Yeah, New England gets Cincinnati this week, then they get Miami, and then they get Buffalo. I think a very underrated team for Jets fans and the Jets to be rooting for in this whole. I mean, it always sucks when you're looking for help outside, but a very underrated team to be rooting for right now is the Kansas City Chiefs. Because if they could go into Week 18 with the Bills still having to play for home field advantage, then as long as the Bills have something to play for that last week, they'll probably steamroll the Patriots again. So if the Jets can, quote unquote, take care of their business, then
does Casey have to play the Chargers again?
I think they're done with San Diego.
They played them already twice.
Yeah, I know they.
Yeah, they did. All right, so they got Seattle, Broncos, and then Raiders. Oh, they got a cake schedule.
Yeah, so they should be able to win all of those games to keep Buffalo needing to continue to play hard for home field advantage and the first round bye, because with only one team getting a bye in home field, it's a much more valuable commodity, I feel. So So that's like I think the Chiefs are like an underrated team to root for. The Chargers, I mean, there's another avenue for the Jets to get into the playoffs, which would include them going 2-1 in these next 3 games. I think the loss would have to be to Seattle because it would be a non-conference loss. But I think there's an avenue where they could get in at 9-8. But obviously, New England would have to lose. New
all
England
their
would have
games.
to go 1-2 over the next 3 weeks, and I think San Diego would have to lose at least 2 of their last 3 games. They'd have to lose to like Denver and like some other like the Colts. So
Who would be the wild cards in that situation? Would it be
I think in that
the
situation, the Jets would get in with like the last wild card.
7th,
And
and then who Miami would be 6,
I believe so, yes.
and then Chargers at 5. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess. Let me see Chargers schedule real quick. But yeah. Honestly, the defense, like I said this before, they've been playing good ever since after the Cincinnati game, and they let off one play, and that was probably the biggest play they'd have ever given up that I've
Yeah, I
seen.
think that was the biggest play they've given up all year.
So I'm hoping that's just the one mistake that happens.
Yeah, the one gripe I have with the defense is they haven't created any turnovers. They haven't created the turnovers. The last turnover they had was the CJ Mosley interception against the Bears, which came in garbage time. So it was kind of a meaningless interception in the rain. So that's the last time they've really forced a turnover. And I mean, you got to be able to, if you're an elite defense the way they say they are, you got to be able to create turnovers, especially when at this point your offense isn't getting it done. Like we can be real about it. Even when Mike White was playing and it was more competent, it was still very inconsistent. And they still like got off to very slow starts in the first half of most of those games from Mike White.
One play I wanted to point out was DJ Reed on that touchdown deflection to Jameson Williams. That was probably like one of the best plays of the whole game.
Oh, are you talking about his pass breakup he had?
Yeah, pass breakup. And
yeah, that was a pretty good.
I mean, he wasn't even looking, which was the worst part.
And Sauce didn't even get targeted once.
Yeah, he didn't. The whole game, and I mean, it makes sense because they had Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. He was making plays for, I mean, a decent amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I had him in fantasy, and he put up a good amount of points. He didn't. Obviously, he didn't find the end zone. They were bending a lot, but not breaking in that regard. But yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I do want to say, because I noticed a lot of this after the game. I noticed a lot of people saying, like, pulling up like Zach Wilson's stats from this game and kind of comparing them to like Mike White's stats against like the Vikings, trying to say like they're being held to different standards or they're being graded on different curves. And to that, I would say if you're doing that, like if you're playing that game, if you're pulling up the box scores and you're saying and you're trying to create this narrative, then you're really just ignoring what your eyes are showing you is happening, which is
it just sounds like they're not watching the game.
Yeah, it's like, or if you are watching the game, you're ignoring what your eyes are showing you, which is clear as day, which is that Mike White is leaps and bounds better than Zach Wilson.
You can see like the consistency in the plays with Mike White. With Zach, it's like, okay, I feel scared when Zach is about to pass the ball. Like with Mike White, I'm like, all right, I have hope.
Yeah.
With Zach, it's like, okay, oh shit, what's gonna happen now?
Yo, I've legit been having I legit had a nightmare about Zach Wilson quarterback last night. I had a dream. I had a dream that I had a dream we had a 1st and goal, and Zach Wilson dropped back to pass, and he was trying to throw the ball to James Robinson, and he threw the ball at his feet. And now this is where the dream gets weird. But he threw the ball at his feet, which all seems realistic. The defender uses a dustpan to stop the ball from hitting the ground and scoops it up to another defender, and then the defender catches the ball and runs it back for a touchdown. And then like the refs had this conference, and they were basically like, after review, that shouldn't have been legal, but fuck the Jets, so they counted it.
See, the Jets don't like that. The NFL doesn't like the Jets. But one thing I want to point out in your dream, it would have made more sense if like the defender threw the cleat and then it popped up,
Yeah, that would have
and
made
then
but I don't know.
I'm trying to wonder where the fuck the dustpan came from.
I don't know. The defender just had a dustpan in his hand. It was just like, what? and he like scooped the ball from hitting the ground, and it went right into a defender's hands. And even then I was still like, yo, like Zach Wilson's the worst quarterback I've ever seen. Like,
So we're trying to sweep us.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the dustpan was. If you're a dream expert, please reach out to us and DM us. Let us know if there's any symbolism for dustpans and dreams, or dreams about having your quarterback throw interception. Please.
I think your dream was in a parallel universe.
Yeah, please just let me know like what mental illness I have. Thank you. But yeah, no, it's very yeah, just the gut wrenching, the type of loss that really does just kill your season. And I mean, now with Jacksonville coming into town, what's to stop Jacksonville from pretty much doing the same thing the Lions did against us defensively, where you just stack 8 in the box and say, hey, if you want to beat us, Wilson has to like play football, which we know he doesn't know how to do. There's nothing stopping
any reason. I don't see any reason for us to stop them, because they might just go in with the same energy, even though it's a short week. I mean, they're coming off their high on a win,
and like they might
just came off a devastating loss. So, I mean, we are hungrier, obviously, but
I don't know.
It depends. It depends what team shows up on the field. Because we have Zach at quarterback. It's not Mike White. So you don't know what Zach you're gonna get, because there's gonna be I did decent Zach, or I'm playing like shit.
With a short week to prepare, I'm thinking. With a short week to prepare, I think it's more likely we see I'm playing like shit Zach. We haven't really seen Zach Wilson on a Thursday night on a short week, because last year when we played on Thursday, it was the Mike White game where he also got hurt. And that's like the one issue with Mike White, is like he stands in the pocket too long and he takes too many big hits.
He does.
Which leads to a lot of which does lead to some durability concerns,
which led to him being out.
Yeah, it's led to this and never-ending merry-go-round of quarterbacks. We've seen all three. We've seen Flacco twice. We've seen Zach Wilson rise from the dead. Only
at this point, like I can already determine Mike White is obviously the better quarterback. We know this. If you have any rational, like,
if you have eyes,
I was trying to be nice. Yeah, if you have eyes
and
you can see it, and you can see the production. Even though like the losses weren't bad, like they're competitive losses, but at least we made a chance with this. Like there were so many missed opportunities where it was like, okay,
Yeah,
you
but like,
should have done it. You
yeah,
should have
and, like,
done this before with
as far as
the
competitive
other
loss
two
goes,
teams. I
like
mean, yeah,
like as far as the whole competitive loss thing, like that's like like you feel okay about competitive losses, like like the Vikings,
but this was just like there.
the
The
Bills,
Vikings, like they had the chance. It was
or
right
like
in the end zone, and then they
yeah,
dropped it.
like
It's like
at
okay,
this point there's no more. At this point there are no more moral victories. It's only real victories.
it's playoff. We're in the playoffs right
Yeah,
now.
these are playoff games, and they need to be treated as such. There's no moral victories when you lose a playoff game, and the Jets essentially lost a playoff game this past Sunday. Like you could take some, there could be some good takeaways from losing to the Bills 20-12. It was a hard fought game. It was going to be very hard to sweep the Bills, even with the upgrade at quarterback with Mike White. The Vikings, that's a game we should have won, but obviously, obviously we didn't. And even though Minnesota is a little bit fraudulent, like they were very close to losing to the Colts until Matt Ryan decided to Matt Ryan it up in the greatest comeback in NFL history on Saturday.
Mhm.
But
I mean,
like you can feel okay though about like a competitive loss to the Vikings. Like you can kind of
right.
live with that, or like like losing to a team like the Ravens or the Bengals and being competitive, even though I don't think we were very competitive against either of those
Yeah,
teams.
I
You know,
don't think so.
those are like the competitive losses you could like
That,
feel okay about.
that
Really,
wasn't where we picked it up. Like
yeah,
as soon as that Pittsburgh game happened, that's when the defense changed and we saw what they could do. After that, everything's been like close and winnable. Like the games we lost, it's like okay, I get it, we lost, and it's just like because we could have lost the Browns.
yeah,
We
we
could have
should have
lost the Browns
lost the
game.
Browns. Do you think maybe
Like that was just like a miracle.
like in a way, do you think maybe it would have been better? We would have been better off if we would have just lost the Browns and like instead of getting like cock teased by this
Mm,
team, because we would have been 0-3,
mean,
and then like we wouldn't have won a
and
game.
then went on the run.
We would have been over at that point. So instead of like going along for this whole ride just to like get your heart ripped out at the
Of
end, at least we would have
getting,
known.
yeah. I mean, like because like as the season goes on, your expectations change, obviously,
Yeah,
and like now you're expecting, okay, now we should make the playoffs. Before the season started, we were like, okay, we'll be good with 7 wins,
yeah. Now we got those seven.
and
But there's 3,
we got the 7 wins. Now it's like, okay, well, you got what you wanted.
and we were 6-3. We were 6-3 going into our bye week.
Five, yeah, we were
So
six
like,
and
yeah,
three.
and you had just beaten the Buffalo Bills, who were and
Mhm.
I think still are Super Bowl favorites, or they might not be the favorites to win the Super Bowl, but they're in like the top. They're in like the
They're
top three
they're
in the
they're
NFL.
in the yeah, they're a contender for sure.
Yeah, like I think people will probably be surprised if the Bills don't make it to the AFC Championship game this year. At a bare minimum, no, people will be surprised that the Bills are not one of the final 4 teams. Something
I
weird.
wouldn't be. Well, we wouldn't be.
What
Would
if
you be? I don't think you'd be surprised.
the
Like
Bills?
we know, yeah, we know how the Bills play.
I mean, look if you look at the playoff teams. I mean, if you look at the playoff teams now, I mean, maybe we.
Comparing to every other teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, nothing would really surprise me. It's been a weird year, but
Yeah,
like ultimately nothing would really surprise me. But like at this point, looking at the playoff teams and like looking at like what the matchups would be, personally, I would be a little surprised if they didn't make it to the Final Four.
Final Four. No, I could definitely see the Final Four, but Super Bowl I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, I mean they could definitely lose to the Chiefs again in the playoffs in the AFC
Yeah,
Championship game. That wouldn't
that's
surprise me
that's
at
it.
all.
I
I'm
I
saying,
definitely see happening because
I'm saying
they
if
beat them in
they
the
didn't
season.
get past the division round, that would be a surprise.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
that's
they
what.
didn't last year because they lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah, but this year they're not going to play the Chiefs that soon. They would play the Chiefs in the
Yeah. No,
championship.
because yeah, they're 1-2, so they'll probably end up. I mean, best case scenario for them, they end up with them in the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
Well, most rational uh expectation for them.
although
But I mean, if the
The
Chiefs
Bengals do have
Chiefs
the
end up losing and then the Bengals end up winning, then they play Buffalo,
yeah, I could
which
definitely
is which is the only other team I could see getting to the AFC Championship with Buffalo.
I could definitely see that happening because the rest of these teams are a bunch of frauds, and the
Yeah,
Jacksonville Jaguars now all of a sudden are very much in play to win the AFC South. So they have just as much to play for as we do. In fact, they have they have more to play for because they have a division title potentially to play for. We just have a playoff spot.
so what are they, 6-7 or 7-7?
The Jags are 6-8.
Six.
So they're one
Okay,
game
6-8, and then the
at
Titans
the
are
end.
7-7.
They just beat the Titans, and then I think they play them again in week 18.
Ooh,
That's mistaken. Let me double check.
so yeah, because they could just win the division. God damn it!
Yeah, Titans,
See,
Jags, week
Trevor
8.
Lawrence is going to be a problem for the next. He's going to be up there. See, all these AFC quarterbacks are doing good.
Yeah, and we're stuck with Zach because
We're
I don't really see a way Zach Wilson's not on the roster next year. And they probably shouldn't cut ties before year 3. But they definitely, either they got to keep Mike White around and make him QB1, or they have to bring they need to do something at the quarterback position though. They cannot just. I mean, it was a mistake to hand Zach Wilson the job from day one in his rookie year. I
right.
think we all agree at this point that was not the right move. He definitely wasn't ready. I mean, he still doesn't look ready. He still makes the same mistakes now that he did day one of his rookie season.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
And I
no,
mean, like the position, it was given to him
there's
as a
been no
starter because he
progression.
was
There's
picked
been no
second overall.
reset.
That's why. Like he was just coddled like a baby, and it was like, okay, here, here,
And
here.
they're continuing.
They're trying to help him build the whole team around him, and he still can't do shit.
Yeah, and
Mike
they're
White came out of the
continuing.
slums, and he's over here just tearing shit up.
Because I know that
Like you could see what he can do, and like he had the thing with Zach is he thinks too much. He doesn't just
just make
go with
there.
make the throw. Like he thinks too much. He tries to he makes the situation harder than what it should be.
Yeah, and he doesn't trust what he's seeing.
Yeah, because he's second guessing everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I think everyone is like, okay, we see how Mike White can play. He should definitely be the starter. They should definitely battle that out next year. I know it's going to happen. And whoever ends up playing good, because apparently they said, "Oh, Mike White." They're saying Mike White didn't play good in like preseason or whatever. I
Yeah.
think that was a load of shit because I think they just didn't want to end up with the situation they got now.
Yeah. It seems like
Zach is the product.
the way they handled the whole situation. It's always politics with the Jets, man, and there's always politics that seem to supersede winning football games, and it really pisses me off. I wish. Like it could even be calls coming from over everyone's head. Like I know Woody Johnson changed the structure and made it so coach reports to GM and the GM reports to him, and he supposedly took his hand out of the jar. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's still making these calls from above, like to get Zach Wilson back out on the field because we drafted him second overall.
Mm-hmm. All right. I look at it this way. So, as a GM, how good do you think Joe Douglas has done?
I would give him
After like, let me lay it out. Coming in with Adam Gase, he had pretty much nothing
Yeah,
because he couldn't
like
draft any
Robert
players.
Sala said, it was an
One,
expansion team.
all
Worse.
these, yeah, worse apparently. Yeah, I mean, whatever you take it for what it is, but he had all this money spent. He had to basically get all that shit back, and then finally bring in the people that he wants after uh, hiring the head coach he wants.
Right.
Then obviously they have their own chemistry. I mean, they've drafted players 2 years in a row that are producing. Now, do you still trust him to say, okay, we fucked up picking Zach Wilson and you'll still keep him? Because I have no problem keeping him for like the next 10 years. I don't give a shit if he drafts another quarterback and then they suck. Because one, at this point, I don't think there's a reason to even draft one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Joe Douglas is the one GM who can survive fucking up as badly as he did with the number 2 overall pick at the quarterback position. Because of how good of a job he's done with everything else. I would give him like an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10. With the only knocks on him being that he missed on the quarterback and that we still have a lot of inconsistencies at offensive line. And I think
Mm-hmm.
even with obviously Elijah Vera Tucker was an awesome pick, but I think he kind of thought too much about, I think he kind of overthought the whole picking the Mekhi Becton thing when Tristan Wirfs was right there. I think that would have been a much better pick.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would have been a better pick, but
I love
with
Mekhi.
the O line, I
He
mean,
needs he needs
it's
to play.
it's there's been like 7 tackles that been injured all season,
Yeah, yeah. So
or 6.
there has been a lot of bad injury luck, which but remember that's only an
Mhm.
excuse for teams like the Dolphins. It's not an excuse
Right.
for us. But
I mean, shit. Man. Every team has injuries, so I can't just base it off of that. But
yeah, no, no, no.
you can't do shit about that. Like if you're picking players, I mean, you see how they produce. I mean, what was it? Dwayne Brown. He was hurt coming in, and he's still playing.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as picking Mekhi Becton over Tristan Wirfs, and I mean,
Yeah,
I know we basically consider that whole 2020 draft to kind
20
of be
draft
go away
a
and
bust. Yeah,
kind of just be
I
like,
mean, it pretty much is.
but I do think like with Joe Douglas being such an O-line guy, I think that I think he deserves a little bit of criticism for that pick. Because I think obviously Mekhi Becton has all the talent in the world, but I think like you could see that there were concerns about his durability, like before he even before he was even drafted, like there were concerns there.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it would be fine, like if we just let him cut his losses with Zach Wilson and move forward as the GM of this team. I don't know if I would. I agree. I wouldn't want to draft another quarterback. I don't really know how we can even draft another quarterback. We've won too many games this year. At least to get one of the really good ones. So what are you gonna do? Like use another
But
first round pick on
I
like a
mean, like
BB?
even if we did try to draft one, they're not starting immediately. It's going to be a project.
Yeah,
So it's all right. You get a veteran because Joe Flacco's gone after this season. I can tell
Flacco's
you that shit.
yeah. Flacco should
Um,
retire. I don't see.
Mike White's a free agent, so they better sign him because that's like the only competent quarterback they're going to have at the
Yeah,
moment.
Straveler.
And because you don't know if you do get one as a rookie, you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, you don't know what you're.
And
Yeah, and I
and
don't
I
think we
guess I don't know what they're going to do with
I don't
Trevor.
think we can waste. Yeah, I don't think the roster now has too much talent to waste it on Zach Wilson or to waste it on another unknown rookie quarterback. Um,
Right.
unless you get someone, unless you get someone that you just know is going to be a home run. but like all those people are going to be gone, and you're not going to trade up for one. So I think, I think either you sell the farm and you get like Lamar Jackson here, or you get Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers is old and it would only be for a couple of years. I don't care. I would still do it because you would be a Super Bowl contender for those couple of years. And ultimately,
what would you have to give up?
the windows are short as far as the windows to win Super Bowls. Like the playoff window, I would say is pretty wide open. We should be able to, I think for the next 5 years, we should be able to contend for the playoffs. But realistically, we probably would only have like a 2-year window to really contend for a Super Bowl, which we would need we would need an upgrade at the quarterback position, and we would need some upgrades at offensive line for that as well.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be addressed in free agency, I'm pretty sure. But as far as Aaron Rodgers, what are you giving up for him?
I would give up 2 first-round picks, a second, and Mike LaFleur. He can go hang out with his brother in Green Bay.
Just let Aaron Rodgers call the plays.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. He seems to do a better job than Matt LaFleur does.
Ron Middleton, offensive coordinator.
Yeah, you know what? I don't hate it. I hate it. At least with Ron Middleton, I don't know how good his scheme would be. At least he wouldn't call plays like a pussy.
Yeah, I don't see it at all. Yeah. Because the thing, I feel like the thing with Mike LaFleur is he's trying to outsmart too much when all he has to do is a simple shit and it's gonna work. Because I feel like the simple plays have been working, and when he tries to do all this, like the shit, you're like, oh my god, what is he doing? That's him overthinking shit. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I feel like with LaFleur, he's good for the occasional trick play, and that is about it.
Yeah,
but
I mean that's true. Because like you'll find that one play you're not expecting, and then it ends up working. But I'm saying it again. His play calling on 3rd and 4th down are better than 1st and 2nd.
And it's always 3rd and 4th and long.
Right. And it's always long. Yeah.
He's always getting himself into bad situations, or the offense as a whole. Because I mean, I think Zach and LaFleur, I think they share blame in that.
And I don't think they even work well together.
No, they really don't. And it's like I never even see them communicating. Like usually, after an interception, usually, you'll see the quarterback go back to the sideline and meet with the coach or meet with the offensive coordinator, and they're looking at the iPad and they're going over shit. I never see that with Mike and Zach. I never see like any communication at all.
You see it with Mike White. You'll see it with Mike White for sure.
Yeah, and you never see anything with and you never really see shit with like whatever quarterback coach they hired to coddle Zach's sorry ass, his guy from like BYU or whatever that they brought in.
Mm-hmm.
They need a new QB.
Yeah. But, I mean, that that oh god, it's RP.
Streveler, there's no reason for Joe Flacco to be the backup or QB2 while Mike White's hurt and Zach Wilson.
At this point, he should just be the QB coach.
Show some balls and activate Streveler. And I know exactly why they won't do it, especially with these home games, because the second. Because like last week, with Zach Wilson, like when he fucks up with Joe Flacco on the bench, if Zach Wilson throws an interception or fucks up, no one's going to be like, oh, put in Flacco, because we all know how bad that is. And honestly, might still even be worse than Zach Wilson just because he can't move. He's got like cinder blocks for feet now.
Yeah.
But if Zach Wilson fucks up and Streveler's the backup, all MetLife Stadium will be chanting for Streveler to come in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Jets just don't want it. It's the reason.
I mean, he's the unknown. He's the unknown. You don't know what he's gonna do like actually during the season. Like you've seen it during preseason, but you haven't experienced it during the season, and he hasn't. I mean, that's
It's
one thing. It's preseason, so you're not sure what's going to happen. He could just shit the bed and get sacked like 3 times. Who knows? But it's always the unknown that gets people excited.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, now
That's
we
why
have
the
maybe we have a chance. I have
almost.
hope. Maybe we have hope here. Who
Yeah,
knows? What if he's the franchise quarterback? They said the same shit with Mike White. Now he's hurt.
yeah. Especially when you see like someone like Brock Purdy come in and like
Mm-hmm.
do good. I feel like that whole Brock Purdy, Trey Lance thing, it could end up being like a Kirk Cousins RG3 situation where
Yeah,
they
it
draft
definitely.
a guy
I think it will be.
and the other guy was like an afterthought or insurance policy, but then the other guy ends up being actually the guy. I think that's what we're seeing develop in San Francisco. But yeah, I think that's the reason why Flacco started those first 3 games when Zach was hurt. Like because if Mike White started those games, he probably never loses the job. He's probably the starter all year until he inevitably gets hurt.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, and I think the Jets knew that. I think the Jets knew that. The Jets either knew or they had a hunch that that Mike White was better than Zach Wilson, and they were just
the team likes Mike White.
Yeah, the team clearly likes Mike White way better. You could
that helps
say it, but you could tell just by the body language. You could tell the team
that shit matters,
and that they you could tell the team rallies around Mike White, and you could tell the receivers especially enjoy playing for Mike White much more than they like playing for Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I mean, they see the shit that goes on. They know better than any of us.
I mean,
watching every practice.
I know Garrett Wilson was like, giving Zach a big hug after the game and basically saying like, oh, we're gonna keep, we fought today and we're gonna keep fighting and all that jazz. But I think deep down he was probably like, man, this motherfucker stinks. I wouldn't have to be doing this if he didn't.
Yeah, I believe it.
By the way, pun.
Probably just trying to because he realizes like he's hurt, so I got to deal with this dude for the next week.
Exactly.
So it's like, all right, I'm trying to like give him some confidence here and help him out.
Yeah, no, it was.
Oh man, it is what it is. I mean,
just disgraceful, a disgraceful loss. Another game won. Another game that should have been won that they couldn't get done, and it's probably going to cost them a trip to the playoffs. But looking ahead,
that's like 4 games in a row that we should have won.
Yeah, 3. We're on a 3.
I said 4.
Oh, you mean you're talking about like
the Patriots
game.
Yes,
we should have won. I mean, really, we should have won both Patriots games. So
yeah.
Like we should be like. Yeah, we should really be like we should really be like
we should have been in double digits already.
Yeah, we should be like 10-3 now or 9-4.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we are, 7-7, and we have to scratch and claw to hope to get into the playoffs, and we need to get help from other teams, which is always a shitty position. But luckily, I mean, the Patriots' schedule down the stretch is not favorable for them. So, if they just need to figure out a way these next 3 games to get their shit together and, win these next 2 games. And then you go into Miami and, you have a chance. Like pretty much no matter what happens, if you win these next 2 games, you will have a chance to make the playoffs going into week 18. Hopefully the Patriots just lose to the Bengals this week, and it's a game where you control your own destiny. That's what it should be. But my confidence or trust in the Jets to take care of business, quote unquote, is just at an all-time low.
See, I mean, it would be nice for that to happen and win out, which I said we should have done last week.
Yeah, I remember
And
you and Justin were both like, "Oh," when I said we were going to go 3-1, you guys were like, "Oh, what games are we losing?"
hey, look, we
I was pretty.
shouldn't. That
I was
that
like
was a
really
game
pissed
right
off on
there.
Sunday. I was like about to text the group chat and be like, "Yo, you
Like
guys
I understand,
are."
but I asked you which game was it going to be, and it
Yeah,
couldn't have been Jacksonville. It could not have been Jacksonville because at
yeah,
least we beat Miami once. But I
and we
mean,
might be
after that,
Jacksonville now, though.
shit. After that game, I don't even. If we lose to Jackson, we don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, even right now, I would say we probably don't deserve to be in the playoffs, and we really
Mhm.
we got exactly what we deserved on Sunday with the Lions. We definitely deserve to lose that game.
Yeah, and they didn't win. We lost that game.
Yeah, yeah, and we deserve to because
Yeah,
we fucked
we
up.
played like shit. They fucked up. They fucked up more than Detroit fucked up.
Yeah, yeah, like
That's how it worked.
Jared Goff was who everyone said he was in sub 35. They
Yes,
just
he did not play good at all.
yeah.
All he was
Yeah,
doing was throwing checkdowns the whole game.
yeah, they just made him look. I feel like, especially with that last drive at the end, that probably like inflated his stats a lot too. They
Yeah.
made him. I feel like the Jets made him look a lot better than he actually played.
Mhm.
But yeah, moving on to Jacksonville, we now have we have a round 2 of Trevor Lawrence versus Zach Wilson. The number 1 versus number 2 overall pick. And by the day, there is more and more of a discrepancy and gap in talent between those two individuals. So, and it's supposed to monsoon from what everything I'm hearing on Thursday. So they're going to be playing in a bit of a rainstorm. So how do the Jets, how do the Jets, find a way to beat a surging Trevor Lawrence Jacksonville Jaguars team that has now been revitalized and is fighting for the AFC South title?
Well, I wish it was Mike White, but that's not happening.
No. And
Um,
one other thing before we get to that, actually, I know that Mike White, I know that Zach Wilson's playing because Mike White's still not medically cleared, and that's not a surprise. I didn't think that 3 more days was gonna really
mhm.
make a difference for the rib injury. Although
I knew it already.
honestly, though, sometimes I look back on that game last year against the Colts when we were live streaming and Justin came up with his crazy conspiracy theory how they were like holding Mike White out of the game and that he could have been playing. And sometimes I think about it, I'm like, maybe he was like kind of onto something. Maybe these calls are coming from above because they just want to get their golden
Could
boy
be.
number 2 overall pick. Maybe this team really would rather lose with Zach Wilson than win with Mike White.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so
The
much.
NFL is dirty.
The Jets are just too
You saw
political.
that Raiders touchdown the other day.
Oh, the Keelan Cole touchdown where he
Hmm.
caught it with his foot out of bounds and they didn't call it
Like
anything.
what the fuck? We saw Braxton Berrios and Keelan Cole do that last year, and they called Keelan Cole's out when he was clearly in.
Yeah, you know what though? The refs kind of the refs. Oh, the Patriots deserve to get boned for once in their lives. They get every single
Yeah, good.
call and they get away
I
with
was
everything.
happy that happened.
So I don't give a shit about. I don't give a shit if they got in that game. They fucking deserved it, and they deserved to lose because what the fuck were they even doing on that on that last play of the game? There was no reason to be lateraling the football. I think like Ramondre Stevenson lateraled it to Jacoby Myers, and like
Yeah, and then he threw it at Chandler Jones. Yeah.
a switch went off in his head that like they were losing and that they needed to do like 1,000 laterals to try to win. And he was like, "Oh, Mac Jones is open. Let me throw it to him." And that play should replace the butt fumble. That should be the butt fumble play of the 2020s, and we should that play should be memed into eternity.
Yeah, I wish.
Shit, that play might have even been even worse. It was bad. It was like on that level of butt fumble. It was butt fumble-esque, if you will. But
fumble-esque.
But I know. But anyway, back to my original point, which was I know that Mike White wasn't medically cleared, and that doesn't surprise me. But would you be surprised if Mike White was healthy and was medically cleared? Because I know yesterday in a press conference, Robert Saleh said he wasn't ready to name a starting quarterback. Mike White was healthy. Would you be surprised if they still just rolled with Zach and just said, oh, they looked at the stat sheet and just said, oh, he threw for 300 yards. He had a good game, played well enough to earn the job back. Would that surprise you?
If they decide if White was able to start?
Yeah. I'm saying, would it surprise you if
they
Mike
said Zach should start instead?
And they stuck with Zach Wilson?
Yes, that would surprise me.
I wouldn't be surprised. Not saying that's the right move,
I
but
would be.
Surprise me.
Because I think at this point, Robert Saleh realizes, okay, we're trying to make the playoffs now.
Yeah.
We're not trying to experiment with the quarterback, which is what it looks like.
What if that call's coming from above? What if it's a Woody Johnson decision? Like, hey, you guys got to play Zach Wilson.
Then we're fucked. Yeah,
I mean, we're fucked regardless. That is just we're.
I mean, because to me it seems like they're actually letting him do what they want to do. I don't think the owners are getting involved anymore. Besides, like, talking to the players they draft, that's about it. Getting involved with like social media and shit.
Yeah, and pushing the uniform combos.
Yeah, because look, I mean, when was the last time we had a winning season, or at least at 500? What, 2015?
Yeah, 2015 when we went 10-6.
Yeah, so I mean, at least it's not a win now team. Now it's like a team that looks like it's getting built to win more.
Yeah, like even if we do, like it looks like we're gonna probably collapse and miss the playoffs here, but and that'll be a missed opportunity because this was a very weird season where there were only a few good teams and a lot of mid teams, and a lot of those mid teams were going to make the playoffs, and we could have been one of those mid teams. And with our defense, that we would still be a team, even with our deficiencies at quarterback. We would be a team that teams would not want to see in the playoffs because of how good.
Because a lot of people say it, even though like it's going under the radar. Nobody wants to play the Jets defense.
No, they don't.
Nobody wants to.
They don't want to.
If they were to make the playoffs, they don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, they won't talk about it because any like good publicity for the Jets does not generate clicks or
because the NFL does not like the Jets. They don't. It's always the little shit brother to the Giants.
Jets.
Yeah, the LOL Jets, goddamn Jets. Jets suck. This and that.
Yep,
it's always But when they finally end up doing good, I mean, like it's hard to stop it because I know there's shit going on where the refs get involved with calling plays for teams and shit.
Yeah,
like roughing the passer and all that. Like you could see it because like Mike White got killed, and then who was it? Like recently, I saw him get hit. Justin Herbert. Yeah, Justin Herbert was one. There was another one, and he barely got the pass off, and he got hit. They called roughing the passer. It was the same shit with Mike White.
Right. Yeah. Mike White got folded like a lawn chair.
He got.
I saw a thing. I don't know how true this is, but I saw something on Twitter today that the Jets are the one team in the NFL that has not gotten a roughing the passer call in their favor, like the whole season.
You know what? That sounds like it's true. I never even thought about it.
I can't remember one.
And I can't remember one either.
See, like the Mike White play was like probably the most brutal.
And that's some shit I usually think about.
Yeah,
I've never even thought about it.
Brutal hit a Jets quarterback. That's why it's just so laughable when people are like, "Oh, the refs the refs give preferential treatment to Sauce and the Jets. Like, no, the fuck they don't.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's
Sauce is just,
that's the only thing we get. And
and we
it's
don't
not
even.
even
It's
like
not even something that we're
we're
getting.
getting an advantage. We're not even getting an advantage. It's just they're both going at it, so
Yeah,
they just let them put hands on each other. It's
yeah,
not like one person's holding.
yeah. Like sometimes the hand fighting between the receiver and corner.
But they're letting them do that now. That's
Sometimes it
different.
can escalate to a penalty. Like I think on that play where I think on that Jeff Smith should have been touchdown play, I think that it was hand fighting and it escalated into pass interference when the corner
Yes.
was grabbing Jeff Smith by the waist. Like
Okay.
that
Yeah,
I think
because that's what it was when you saw it in the end zone.
yeah, I think that's an example of like hand fighting escalating to a
That's
penalty.
learning to.
But
Oh,
there's
yeah.
plenty of
Okay.
times where it's just two people hand fighting, and like you said, that is something that they are allowing the players to do. They're letting play a little more,
It's
which
true.
is
Yeah,
which
which
is
is
fine.
good. I like
Like
that.
defenders can't defend at all anyway. So like
I mean, like it's fucking a flag every other play,
yeah,
even without that.
yeah, it's truly ridiculous. Um, I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something else, but I can't. I can't remember at this time. It's escaping me.
Wait.
But yeah, it
All right,
does.
that means commercial break.
Yeah, no, we actually we're just doing video this week, so there's no need for commercials.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, we're free flowing. In fact, we've been recording for over an hour, so like really we would have had like 2 commercial breaks by now. But something is wrong with these microphones, and it's like not like it's still gonna be fine for the video, but like if I record the audio, it would just be a conversation with myself. I don't know what it is, but it's something. Probably just need to get new equipment because this shit is old and shitty. Uh, but no, I was gonna say something that I think was kind of relevant to that, but
Regarding the pass
regarding like the
interference.
whole regarding like the whole officiating and like the refs don't respect the Jets and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or I think even Garrett Wilson was even talking about like this isn't what I was gonna say, but it just came to my mind. How I think a few weeks ago Garrett Wilson was talking about how like he got like mauled on one play and he kind of like looked at the ref and gave him like one of these and the ref was like,
Yeah,
"You're not at Ohio State anymore. Like I'm not throwing."
yeah. I remember that because he was saying that's what the ref said. No, I don't know how true it is, but
Yeah,
I
and like
mean, why would he just make that up?
if CJ Mosley would have folded up Josh Allen like a lawn chair, and I do think that the Matt Milano hit was I actually do think that it was kind of a clean play.
It
Um,
was a clean play. It
yeah,
was like Matt Milano. Matt Milano's good. I'm
he's
like
very
that's why I don't like him.
big
And
reason.
did you
Big
know? You
reason
know
why
he's from Long
the
Island.
first time was because Matt Milano was out.
You know he was out. So was Tre'Davious White. You know did you know he was from Comac?
Matt Milano.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Is he related to Sonny Milano, the hockey player?
I have no idea, but I know he went to Boston College.
Because Sonny Milano, I think, is from Massapequa. And they both have the same last name. They both have the
Yeah,
same last names, and they're both from Long Island. So, kind of makes me wonder if they have a relation. So they both have like
yeah.
Goomba Italian Long Island names. But
I looked it up that one day when they were playing the Dolphins. I was like, I feel like I've heard this name before.
yeah. Anywho, so moving on to
Anyway,
this Jets Jaguars game. So I mean, is there a way, like, is there an avenue to us beating the Jaguars? I mean, do you see how do
yeah.
you how do we
Um,
beat the Jacksonville Jaguars? How do we slow
we,
down Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, uh, I mean the defense speaks for itself. If it doesn't play the same way letting up that one play, most of the game they play good. Like they have a lot of weapons, like underrated weapons,
Yeah, like Zay
and
Jones.
yeah, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, uh, I think they're getting what's his name from the Falcons back too.
Evan Ingram's been pretty
But I
good.
think that's next year.
Oh, Calvin.
Yeah, Travis Etienne is doing really good too.
Yeah,
So
that's why they gave
they
us James Robinson basically for free,
yeah,
and now he can't even.
exactly.
And now he can't
He
even
doesn't even play.
field. I would like to see
Mhm.
James Robinson play this week. I'd like to see him
Revenge game.
revenge game. Yeah,
Hmm. Shit. Yeah, I wish that could happen. But I mean, Jacksonville's defense is, I mean, they're like average. They're not great. I could see like if I were like, I might pick the under for this game if I had to pick because I mean, going through the air, Trevor Lawrence, like he's iffy, but I mean, he's on a hot streak right now, so it's kind of hard to judge. And it's a Thursday night game because every time I see a Thursday night game, it's always a low scoring game. And a lot of our games have been low scoring until like the second half where they start picking up.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. We need to get off
but
to the.
it seems like it would be an even matchup. I think it would be an even matchup
I think it will be.
because
I think we do need to get our running game back if we're gonna have any chance. I don't know though. I feel like they were able to. I didn't really see much of that game where they beat the Cowboys, but I do have Tony Pollard on a couple of my fantasy teams, and I feel like they kept Tony Pollard in check. And none of our active running backs are as good as Tony Pollard. So
no,
I don't know. I'm kind of, and we don't have as good of O line as the Cowboys either.
yeah, because we don't have Brees Hall right now, so it's
Yeah.
kind of
Honestly, if we still had Brees Hall, we probably would have clinched a playoff spot by now.
shit. And AVT. If we had
But
Brees Hall and AVT still, shit,
yeah.
we would have beat the Patriots at least once.
Yeah, we would have beat the Patriots at least once. Probably would have beaten the
The
Vikings.
Vikings,
We might have beat the Bills because maybe instead of
yeah.
Mike Carter fumbling, that would have been a Brees Hall run for a touchdown.
Mhm.
And shit, we probably could have fucking beat the Lions too. And Mo will be right back. This podcast sponsored by Yingling. When you're drinking your sorrows away after the Jets lose, there's no beer to quench those sorrows quite like Pennsylvania's finest, America's oldest brewery, Yingling Traditional Lager. Yingling, if you're listening, you're welcome, and pay me for that ad because it was great. This podcast is also sponsored by Drill and his book, where he has about 400 pages of his finest tweets categorized. So check that out. Yeah, this is the time. This dead air times. This is the time where we wish we had Justin or knew where he was so that he could provide us with some sort of rant about absolutely nothing to keep the conversation going instead of me sitting here trying to come up with things on my own to talk about. And it looks like Denzel Mims is going to be out for this game, but it does also look like Corey Davis will be back.
He's game time decision.
Who, Mims?
Mm-mm.
I feel like that
Corey
means
Davis.
Corey Davis is okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like with the way the Jets are with their injuries, I feel like Corey Davis will probably play because he's been out for a while. So I feel like he's like on his way back. It sounds like he's trending in the right direction and trending towards probably playing. Like if you told me Denzel Mims was a game time decision after getting hurt, I would say he's probably just out.
Yeah. No, yeah, he definitely would be out.
Yeah. Which sucks. I wanted to see Denzel Mims get his first touchdown. And I think with I think if you're gonna, if you are stuck with Zach Wilson, I think Denzel Mims is like an underrated weapon that you can use to his strengths. Because like you could really, and it's more like LaFleur ineptitude, but it's like you could really do a lot as far as stretching the field with both Garrett Wilson and Denzel Mims. Like you can make this offense, you can make this offense dynamic, but they just don't want to do that for some reason.
Right. Well, you know what hurt us the most on defense in that last game?
What's that?
Big Q being out.
Yeah, I feel like without Quinnen Williams, our defensive line is pretty average.
It's like
It was a big drop.
He creates the line activity.
Yeah, he creates so much havoc in command.
And he makes the pressure a lot easier for every other player because he always gets double teamed.
Right.
And it's a lot easier for like Carl Lawson, who I feel like has been mid all season. Because like he has like when I was watching him in Cincinnati, he looked like he had more
he looked like
I don't want to say aggressiveness, but he had more like moves.
He definitely had
just move tackles off.
More agility.
Because now it just looks like he just tries to bull rush all the time and then hope that it works. Because like there are plays I see where the quarterback's right there, and then like all he has to do is like a spin, and he could just sack the quarterback.
Yeah. What do you attribute that to? Do you think that's like him still like not?
I think it's him being scared of like getting injured again,
re-tearing his Achilles. Yeah, I was
yes.
gonna say, do you think it's him like not fully trusting his body or like not reacting?
I think he's just trying to be careful, even though like it looks like he's just going at it. Like looks are deceiving, but you can see the result of it. And to me, like because you see Bryce Huff, and anytime Bryce Huff is out there, he's getting pressure on the quarterback.
In the
he's always getting pressure
in the pass rush game. Like even when he doesn't get home, you can see that he's always
right there.
He's always battling.
He's
right there, and he's always putting some sort of move on the O lineman to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Like he doesn't. Always. It's very rare, if ever, that an O lineman is able to neutralize Bryce Huff.
And I'd say like over 50% of the time he's getting the advantage, and like he's producing. He should play a lot more, and I don't know why they don't. Like I respect their rotation. I mean, it's working for what it's worth, but there's I mean,
I feel like it hasn't been working.
He has a strategy. He has a strategy on how he thinks
he's gonna approach it.
Because of the percentage of playtime should match the amount of performance in that playtime. So whatever it is, 60% of the time you play, you should give 100%. Whatever the fuck he says it is.
60% of the time works all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
so I mean, it seems like that's the only thing they got down, and they believe that that's what like the trenches is what runs the whole game, which is true. But I feel like they're one-sided on it because
And I
I don't
also
think they built up
we
the
haven't
O
been getting
line the same way.
quarterback as we haven't been getting home and sacking the quarterback as much as we were earlier in the season.
No, or at least mid-season, because as of lately, I mean, we've seen what Q the last game had, or was it against the Vikings? He had like 2 sacks in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe. Yeah, that was against the Vikings because I feel like
Yeah,
against Buffalo we
or
weren't getting.
first half. Yeah, we weren't. We had a couple, but it wasn't as much as how we were pressuring the Vikings, and they weren't capitalizing because I guarantee you were watching, and then you'd see it, and you're like, oh my god, he's right there,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
wouldn't get to him, and then Josh Allen would just slip away and gain like 15 yards
yeah, yeah. That's
because
one thing.
Josh Allen knows that's one thing he knows how to do. He
Yeah,
knows
that's
when
one
to
thing
start
that
running.
Jets seem to really struggle with is
Mhm.
getting home to a quarterback, and then if it's like a scrambling quarterback, like they give up. I feel like they give a lot of they give
Yeah,
up a lot of
always,
rushing yards to QBs.
all the time, all the time. And it happened the first game with Josh Allen, not as much as the second game, but at the same time, like they had help on defense to hold us off even more, so they would get the ball more.
Right.
Um, Even though it was a close game, like we could have, we had the chances, didn't make it happen, and that was because of protection and just all the other intangibles that we can capitalize on, like with the flags and all that shit. And it was at Buffalo, so take it for what it's worth. But
Yep.
I mean, I think honestly, every game this season besides like week one, which I mean, if we played now, I think we could beat them. And well, not with Zach, but with Mike White
We could be.
and the Bengals. I don't know. That's a toss up. But I'm saying like every game we've played this season, besides those two games, and I guess one of the Patriots games, I think we should have won all of them. But I mean, it's coulda, shoulda, woulda. Whatever happens, happens. Your record shows. Your record is who you are.
You are what your record says you are.
Right.
That is what the kids say.
So we are an average team right now. I mean, it could. Who knows? Honestly, I don't know what to expect with Zach at quarterback playing Thursday against Trevor Lawrence, who's hot
In the rain.
in the rain. Like I
I'm
said, if it's Mike White, he has the advantage because he played good against Chicago, but
yeah,
it's Chicago sucks.
they do.
So
I think Jaguars
uh,
the Jaguars defense is a little better than the Bears.
yeah, it's definitely better.
And I
But
think that
I mean, they have a quarterback too.
and like you were saying, the Jaguars defense is average. But the problem is
Mhm.
that we have a quarterback that makes average defenses look like the 85 Bears.
Yeah, and he does it like cordially.
Jacksonville does have a lot of injuries, though. Cam Robinson is out and probably out for the season, their left tackle. And then their right tackle.
When did these when did these injuries happen?
I think Cam Robinson got hurt the past week. I'm just reading a tweet now that
Mm,
Cam Robinson's definitely out, and I heard he's going to be out for the season. And Jawan Taylor, their right tackle, is looking
right,
iffy to play. So God, I know it's a short week, and I know the Jets are usually pretty conservative when it comes to bringing back injured players. But
right.
man, if Quinnen Williams could play, I think if Quinnen Williams could play, I think we can win this game. If Quinnen Williams
Yeah.
doesn't play,
I mean,
I think it's going to be an uphill battle.
man, I think all right. If I had to say our best defensive player, I think it would be Quinn.
Oh yeah, hands down. At this
I
point,
think so.
CJ Mosley is
Like,
what?
obviously, it's going to be between Quinnen and Sauce because CJ. I said it. When did I say that? When was it against the Vikings or the Bills? Where like in open field, like you could see how he's like slower
Yeah, definitely.
and getting, or at least in open coverage, he's like slow defending either
Yeah,
receivers or tight
yeah,
ends,
yeah.
whoever it is.
He had a blown assignment on that touchdown
He,
against the
I'm
Lions.
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was him. It was, and that. I mean, it's a mistake that he's made all season, and there aren't that many because for the most part he's been pretty good. Besides like jumping over the line and that shit,
Right.
but I mean, it's just like simple shit you just fuck up. But
Always.
in the position, if you're in his position, I mean, like I get it. You've been playing good all season. You get like a couple fuck ups, but I mean, to the point where it's costing you the game, that's when it's like, okay,
Yeah, and now it's like 2 games where he's made plays that have cost us. I
right,
mean,
that have cost this game, right? And that's 2 games in a row.
yeah, 2 games in a
They
row.
scored because that was the play, or at least that drive. That's where Buffalo scored with the tight end
Yeah,
before the second half.
Dawson Knox with the touchdown at the
Yeah,
end of the first
because
half. In
that
the
was
end.
the fourth down, and they basically gave him the first down. See, that's that same old Jet shit coming back, but
Yeah,
apparently it's not the same old Jets as the baby Jets.
yeah, I don't know. Right now the vibes are very. Right now the vibes are very same old Jetsy.
It
Um,
is. It's getting there. I hope they
if
just
this
come back from it because they can escape it. It's not same old Jets yet, but it's
we're
there are trending,
now.
and it's just stupid shit. Like, I mean, I understand like all teams fuck up too,
Yeah,
but this is like a Lions team that wasn't even playing good. Like there are games where they dominate and score a lot of points. They were not scoring shit,
yeah. No,
and
that
they
this
let
wasn't
off
the
one
case.
touchdown. I
This
think that was the only offensive touchdown, wasn't it? Because the other one was like
the
punt return or some or a kick return.
yeah, it was the punt return. Then it was 2 field goals,
Right.
2 field goals. Yeah,
Two
punt
two
return,
field goals,
goals,
the
and then they had
touchdown
13.
that yeah.
And they had that was their one offensive touchdown, and it came at the very end of the
Mhm.
game. And I mean, like
Yeah.
those things do happen, but obviously the narrative is like, oh, no one can stop the Red Hot Lions, and the
That's a
Jets,
bunch of bullshit.
which they
That is
do right
such
now.
bullshit.
It is some bullshit. I mean, would you be shocked if the Lions lost to the Panthers this week? I
Mm-mm.
wouldn't be shocked. I'm not going to bet on it, but I wouldn't be shocked if they lost it.
I would not be shocked at all.
Remember, this is maybe not the same Detroit Lions, but Sam Darnold is the same quarterback who lit up the Detroit Lions for 48 points in his debut.
Yeah.
He will be playing against them. So
48-17 Monday
yeah,
night.
you know what? I think I might talk myself into betting on the Panthers against the Lions. But yeah, no, like I feel like the Jets actually did kind of slow the Lions offense down. Like, because I know obviously the week before they did whatever, they had their way with the Vikings, and the weeks prior to that they had their ways with like the Giants and whatever other teams they've beaten on this winning streak that they're on. But yeah, I feel like we had them where we wanted them, and then we just let them escape.
Right. Yeah, we just let the game go. That's pretty much what happened. We had the game in our grasp and just let it go with like 2-3 plays. And that's what cost us the game. Like we had a chance to come back, but it was like scraping, just scraping for it. And the time management at the end just didn't help.
No, it was horrific.
because it was like you have 3 timeouts with like a minute and 30 or shit. I think it was more than that. It might have been. It was around there. A
Like a
minute
minute.
and 30 left. That I mean, that's enough time. And you see the plays that they were making. At least when Elijah Moore had the ball, they could have had 2 timeouts left with time. And I want to say it was what, like they only had what 1 second left when he caught it, and they were like barely. They were like a yard or two away from field goal range,
Yeah, and they left the timeout on the board.
and they left the timeout on the board.
So they should have had at least one more play to get into a
Mm-hmm.
more reasonable, makeable field goal. And obviously, not going to knock Elijah Moore for it, but if he does just go down where he caught the ball, it's like 4 yards closer. So then you're looking at a 54-yarder instead of a 58-yarder, which is much more.
But I mean, if you see the kick, I mean, it made no fucking difference.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the kick was wide to the left, I believe, or
Yeah, it was nowhere
nowhere near being good. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe if he's not kicking from as far away, he makes a better kick because he's not as hyper focused on putting all his leg strength into it as he is like just making an accurate kick.
Right. Because he made that 160-yarder in like the rain, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. And that was 58 at home. So
yeah. But I mean, like
I
didn't
don't know.
he get the 60-yarder against Minnesota actually?
Was it? Yeah, I think it was at Minnesota. Yeah, because that's when we were like, okay, we need
I think he
4
did
more field goals to win the game.
He did have a 57-yarder against the Bears that would have been good from like 67 though.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, even so, I don't know how much of a difference.
I'm not blaming the kicker. It is what it is. But
no, Joe Namath retarded for that one.
Yeah, I saw that shit too. I saw that tweet. Yeah, whatever. Every single game, and that's the one you say that it's the kicker's fault. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, there have been plenty of other times where was that energy? Where was that energy? Week 1, 2019 against Buffalo when the kicker literally cost us that game. The Darnold Mono game.
Right. Oh God. Anyway, that's another. We had that conversation already.
Yeah. That's but yeah. Anyway, should we do the picks and wrap this baby up?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, it is week 16 now. We got 3 more weeks in the NFL season. 3 weeks for the Jets to either go on a miracle run or rip our hearts out the way they always do around this time.
Yep.
So we're gonna we're gonna save the Jets for last, like we always do. Since the Jets are the Thursday night game, we will go in reverse order. So we can start with the Monday night game, December 26th, which is a game between the Indianapolis Colts and the San Diego Superchargers charge. It is a game that if you're a Jets fan, you definitely want and need the Colts to win. Can we count on that? Probably not. I would take. I'm going to go ahead and take the Chargers and hope that I am wrong. Although if we do lose on Thursday, this game won't even matter. So, but I'm taking the Chargers nonetheless.
Yeah. Oof. This is no. Chargers, Colts. Chargers got their receivers back. The Colts played like shit. They played
there's no way the Colts win after
after all that. I mean,
the history of the NFL.
They just lost by a 33-point lead. I can't count on them. I'm taking the Chargers too.
Yeah. And
because I mean the Chargers, one, they're getting their players healthy and they're coming back. The Colts, I can't trust them. They're still led by Jeff Saturday, who didn't win on Saturday.
yeah, he seemed well on his way. The only issue is that he did not cover the spread. Although I think you would have lost your bet anyway because Buffalo did not cover either.
Yeah, I would have.
But still, it was over before it even started.
Yeah, the only one that covered for me was the Browns.
That's right. Well, at least you didn't go 0-3 in your parlay like I did. Which I think if you have a parlay of like 3 legs or more and you lose every single leg, they should give you something for that.
They should like reimburse you like
Give you
$5 or something.
Or
Like a SGP or something boost.
Or especially like if you pick like 10 teams in a parlay and they all lose, like that really is almost as impressive as winning. As all of them winning. But yeah, so we are taking the San Diego Superchargers there. We're gonna keep it pretty light on the picks because most of these games are pretty shit if we're keeping it a buck. So we're going to do one game on Sunday. There's only 3 games on Sunday, and we're only going to pick one of them, which will be the Green Bay Packers at the Miami Dolphins. Another game that does have playoff implications for us, and also the Packers are suddenly alive again after winning. After beating the Rams and winning a few games, they're not dead yet, as Aaron Rodgers would say. I'm
taking the Packers.
I was thinking about it.
I'm doing it for the culture.
I'll pick the Dolphins for the culture of being wrong. I'll pick the Dolphins. But hopefully you are right.
Yes, I hope. Next game, I already have mine predetermined because of
Are we told is the next game Eagles Cowboys? Yeah, Jalen Hurts is probably going to be out. But Gardner Minshew is also very capable. But nonetheless, I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Ooh. All right, we have a good little spread going here. All right, the next game is the Seahawks and Chiefs.
So I assume that means taking the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles.
Seahawks Chiefs. Now I did see an interesting stat that teams that play the Texans the following are like 3-10 the following week this season, or something like that. And the Chiefs
that means pick the team that is not going to be 3-10.
Yeah, NFL team 3-10 after playing the Houston Texans. The Seahawks play the Texans, or the Seahawks play the Chiefs on Christmas Eve. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to take the Seahawks for the culture of being wrong. Even though we should probably root for the Chiefs so that they continue to apply pressure to the Buffalo Bills to beat the New England Patriots in Week 18.
Interesting. I am going to go ahead and take the favorites here.
Fair enough. Although 9.5 points, the Chiefs definitely won't cover that.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
It's possible though.
What else
But
do
the way they've been playing Giants and Vikings,
Giants and Vikings? Hmm,
man,
it's an interesting one.
yeah, this is because I feel like we're picking between two fraudulent teams right now.
Yeah, the Giants are coming off the Vikings are coming off a game they definitely should have lost. And the Giants are coming off a game they won where they arguably could have lost if a defensive pass interference was called on that last play, which probably should have been.
Yeah,
Um,
and Kayvon Thibodeau looked like Lawrence Taylor the whole game.
he did. He did. Honestly, he since there are no Jets on the ballot this week, Kayvon Thibodeau will get my vote for Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week. But I'm only going to vote for him one time. I will not be refreshing my page and spam voting him the way I will for Garrett Wilson or something.
I will. I'll do it.
So
I'm
yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau has my vote, my one and only vote this week, and the
This
Giants.
is a hard. This is
Vote.
a hard game to pick.
Actually, no, I'm taking the Vikings. I almost picked the Giants, but then I don't know. Justin Jefferson
I'm
is
I'm
good.
taking the Giants.
Okay.
I feel like this will be. I want to do it just because, and the Vikings definitely have the advantage here.
Fuck it.
I like the way the Giants are coached, and they always find ways to win, but they still have like a lot of issues. But I mean, the Vikings defense is not that good.
No, it is not.
So, and they played some shitty teams where they were real close to losing.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I'm sticking with the Giants.
fair enough.
Now we have the Cincinnati Bengals against the New England Patriots.
Give me the Bungles.
The Bungles. Yeah, I'm sticking with the Bungles too. I believe in Joe Burrow. I see him. This is pretty much their playoff run right now. They had a little rough start.
Yeah,
Or
they're
they started off okay, but not in the middle of the season. They had some questionable moments, but now I feel like their chemistry is just building up because they're on a decent win streak right now. So I think I saw the rest of their schedule. They should win out.
who are the Bungles?
Yeah,
You
I
think
think they will.
you think they'll beat the Bills next week?
Yeah, I think they'll beat the Bills.
That'd be awesome. Because that would definitely ensure that the Bills have something to play for in week
Hmm
18.
I could definitely see it.
Yeah. What
And
else do we have?
last but not least,
The Jacksonville Jaguars, the New York Jets. The Jets, I think the Jets are 1-point favorites at home at the moment, which really means that on a neutral site, they're saying the Jaguars are a better team than us, and that
so it's like a pick 'em.
actually on FanDuel the Jaguars are 1.5-point favorites. So the spread has moved a little bit since this afternoon.
So it's like a pick 'em pretty much.
Basically, not quite, but basically. I think a 1-point spread is about. I think a 1-point spread honestly is about right. I kind of see this being. I kind of see this being a 1-point game,
Mhm.
and sadly, I think it's a 1-point loss for us. I think that the Jaguars will win 17-16.
Oh man, I really don't want to pick this shit. All right. I said Jags 17-16.
Yes, sir.
Trying to do calculations in my mind right now. Whether I'm calculating everything. Zach Wilson motive. If Corey Davis plays, does Quinn play? It's all a game time decision. It's hard to decide right now because it's so early in the week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only one day, but well, 2 days. Fuck. I'm taking the Jets. Fuck it.
Final score.
I still have hope 21-17.
21-17.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, let's hope you're right.
I hope I'm right.
I hope so too. Well, that's gonna do it for us this week. Thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully the Jets will not ruin Christmas once again, and hopefully everyone enjoys their Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate. Happy Kwanzaa to Justin wherever you are, and we will see you again next time. Peace.
Happy Hanukkah.
That's right. It's like what, the third day?
Yeah.
Hanukkah's going strong. Hanukkah's back, baby. Let's go.
Get us back.
Back like it never left. All right. See you, everybody. Until next time. AGNB out.
Deuces.